Bill, tell me about the lawsuit that you announced yesterday on the Steven Crowder Show.
Absolutely. We have announced our lawsuit that we'll be filing. We'll be seeing that in the public court system here in a day or two against Facebook Inc. And it really centers around something you and I have actually talked about before on the News and Why It Matters about being pro-business but anti-fraud. What we're saying is that these platforms, most specifically Facebook, need to just be honest with who they are. And to date, they have not been. They have lured customers, content creators, and advertising spenders like Steven and his company and other shows like that on all sides of the political spectrum under the guise of being politically neutral. Unfortunately, that's not actually true, and the evidence bears out that the conduct at all levels of Facebook has run counter to that. And so as a consumer, creator, and advertiser, something has to be done, and we're doing it.
I mean, we were there at the very beginning. I remember talking about Facebook and Twitter when no one was talking about them and saying, join us. It's a new platform. We put a lot of time and money into building Facebook, and then they're cutting us off from the people who say they want to join with us.
That's exactly the problem. Everyone knows, and Facebook has never hid the fact, every SEC filing, every investor call, every promo they put out says the product is free because you're the product, the data.
Correct.
The data that's gotten from the user. So they entice the customer and they entice the content creators. Facebook doesn't create content. It's you, it's Steven, it's others on the platform to be able to bring their fans to the platform to provide more information, but doing it under the guise of false pretenses of saying that you're going to run a news feed or a trending topic solely algorithmically when you're not, or saying that you're not using political ideation or political orientation to decide what gets in front of certain eyeballs. That's just being dishonest, and that's what we're targeting here.
It's amazing. I don't know if you have the story from the insider of Facebook that said that BLM was not trending at the very beginning. And they got so much pushback that they changed the algorithm to make sure that BLM was trending. That was complete. That whole movement was bogus. It was bogus. It wasn't trending at the beginning.
And that's what we're looking for. That's what we're trying to finally get these companies, specifically Facebook, to admit, is that this isn't a machine that's doing something. It's people behind the machine, behind the algorithm, who are making inputs, who are changing levers, who are adjusting dials to go after the flavor of the week. And when you hear stories like the recently leaked statements of Mark Zuckerberg saying that they've aligned with a lot of policies, executive orders, and a particular administration, it gives you pause about who's turning those dials. And we're not saying here, this is a big difference. We're not saying that the government needs to come in and run this business
please no.
way. Right, exactly. Right. We're saying just be honest about the products and services. Be honest about how you're using us, the customer, and the content creator.
Look, I don't think this is unreasonable at all. We never know the rules. We never know the rules. I've done broadcasts now for 40-some years, 45 years, I think, and I know the rules. I know what I can and can't say. I know what I can promote, not promote. I know all those rules because they're consistent and clearly written down. And so when it gets vague, maybe it's been vague twice in my career in 40-some years, and that's only when it became political, honestly. It's very clear. Why can't Facebook make it very, very clear so we know? I can't create content for a group that's constantly changing. Can anyone?
No one can. And what's pretty insidious about this is that there are a number of folks at various tech companies who simply want to provide an open product. But given the nature of the employees that they have coming mostly out of California, the advertisers and media companies that wield a lot of pressure because, again, the entire model is based off of gathering data, tailoring it to advertisers, and then selling that experience to the advertisers. There's a lot of pressure that comes to adjust those dials. And when there is that gray area, when you're sitting on the fence looking, well, does it go this way or that way? The one making the decision, unfortunately, is pushing those dials, pushing those decisions, turning those gray areas consistently against a certain political ideology. And it runs a gamut of issues. It's not just, one topic or another. It's a full gamut of issues that have become the enemy of the woke. And that's how these dials are being decided from the evidence that we've seen.
It is also dangerously close to becoming totally corrupted with the government because it's a revolving door. They go in and out from Facebook and Google and then to the administration. They come out of Congress. I mean, this is a public-private partnership in every way except formalizing it.
Absolutely. The ubiquitous nature of the media being now completely dominated in terms of eyeballs and ears by just a handful of tech companies, as opposed to having been widely covered by a number of, radio, television, or print, or even at the time, online sources. Now this total domination has created a place where just a slight adjustment of the dial, just a slight thumb on the scale is going to have massive implications for business owners, whether it's Louder with Crowder and Stephen's show or other creators across the spectrum. And this is the thing. These arguments are not arguments dedicated to just one side of the political spectrum. These affect all Americans who are interested in dealing with a company on a fair level and have adequate disclosures.
We are talking to Bill Richmond. Stephen calls him the half-Asian attorney. And he is filing suit this week. You haven't filed it yet, but you're actually submitting the suit later this week against Facebook to push back on this fraud that's going on. They came out, what was it, today or yesterday, and they said they just really want Biden's help to regulate this. You've got CNN coming in, and I don't care what anybody says. I think Brian Stelter and his little dirtbag, I don't know, bat, what is he, Robin in tights? I'm not sure. But anyway, these two guys are leading the push to get people deplatformed from cable companies, and that means you lose Fox News. Can you answer to the statement that it's freedom of speech but not freedom of reach?
There is, without question, being a pro-business advocate, and Stephen and I have gone back and forth on this, and I know this is an issue close to your heart to support businesses of all sizes, folks who have worked and built something, and being able to tell them, hey, you can do business with the people that you want to. And at a certain level, that's very true. But these tech companies and the media companies have created, through their own desire to become as big as possible, have put themselves in the category of utilities, of common carriers, of other essentials in the modern age. And that's where, while you may not be able to guarantee the number of people that you're going to be having, it's about having a level playing field and really just knowing if the playing field isn't going to be level. If a lot of folks kind of know, hey, if you're going to be on Twitter, Jack Dorsey, avowed anti-conservative, you kind of know what you're going to get. Not that they should be able to do anything, not saying that, but they should be more open about what they're doing. And when actually you referenced earlier that NYU Stern report that came out just a day or two ago saying there is no anti-conservative bias. First of all, when you look at the data, actually it does show a bias. But nonetheless, their conclusions were the same. It said Facebook and big tech need to have more clarity about their policies so that consumers, advertisers, and content creators, and even government officials tasked with regulating these businesses know exactly what's happening. But looking into that black box is the last thing they want us to do. And hey, we're going to pry it open.
What are your chances? I mean, you're going after Facebook. They clearly have endless amounts of money and attorneys.
No doubt. No doubt. And we know that it's going to be a long, hard slog. We know that they're going to throw a lot of defenses, and most especially and foremost, Section 230 and the way that it's been misinterpreted by certain courts. We're prepared to be able to do that. This is going to be a multi-year affair without any doubt. There are going to be battles won and lost, but we're going for the war and trying to win the whole thing and really benefit all Americans who are interested in fair dealing with big tech companies.
Bill Richmond, thank you very much.